Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very special Sunday. We are doing things a little differently today. We are going to have a short little service and then our Spring Parish Meeting right after at 10:30. If you forgot to vote, go do it. Go do it right now because all votes must be turned in by the start of the parish meeting. For all information on the parish meeting and today's super duper exciting, super fun, super amazing 60th anniversary picnic, go check your e-blast or the links in TalkBack. Okay, here's what I'm here for today. We have five amazingly incredible member anniversaries today, and we have to celebrate them. All right. Number one, everybody, happy anniversary to Marie Hollowdell. All right, number two, happy anniversary, Kirsten LeBeau. What a fun day to have an anniversary when everybody's here. All right. Next two, we have, y'all, Leah Pittman and Tyler Pittman. Oh my gosh. This is just getting so good. Like, this is four really great ones. But wait till you hear this next one. All right, y'all. Celebrating her 60th UUCOC anniversary and a 98th birthday earlier this week, one of our church's founding members, Elaine Wildman. Amazing. Oh my gosh, that is so much fun. All right, everybody. That's all I got for you today. I hope that you have a very wonderful, happy Sunday, and let's do this parish meeting thing.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. Thank you for having the curiosity and the courage to join us. We welcome you, whoever you are, whatever spiritual tradition, gender, age, race, sexual orientation, or background you may bring to our community. We hope you will find here comfort, connection, challenge, respect, and above all, love.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of love, compassion, and forgiveness.
Que esta luz que ahora encendemos nos inspire a usar nuestros dones y poderes para sanar y no para herir, para ayudar y no para impedir, para bendecir y no para maldecir, para servirte a ti, espíritu de amor, compasión y perdón.
In Our Circle Again by Sherry Woodbury. Here we are in our circle again, a circle of vision and reflection, a forum for deciding and empowering. Here we are at the base of another bridge, another space spanning the shores of today and tomorrow, beckoning us to cross the chasm one day at a time. Here we are gathered again at the cusp of the future, at the boundary that holds community together. We are here in a circle of love and trust, brought to this moment by a series of choices and promises, by hope and gratitude, by our own shadows, faced and befriended. With a servant's heart and a leader's listening, with a parent's love, truer than all our inner trembling, let us model the health we seek for all and lean into community. Somewhere out there, all we dream is possible. Somewhere in here, we are sowing the seeds.
Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance and service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together.
And now in Spanish. Porque nos amamos uno al otro, honramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y aceptación, así que hacemos pacto.
You are not alone with your sorrow, just as I am not alone with mine. Our covenant of right relations makes this so. You and I are bound by our promise to commune. In community, the burden of a heavy heart is shared. A burden shared is a burden lightened. At this time, we invite you to publicly post your sorrows and prayer requests to the Zoom chat or to send them to our Facebook Messenger.
When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love.
This Sunday, like every Sunday, we reaffirm our promise to one another. Our promise makes clear the call to celebrate. For that which brings you joy, makes you grateful, brings you peace. We, your sacred community, celebrate. We celebrate together and magnify joy, heighten gratitude, and spread ever-increasing peace. At this time, we invite you to publicly post your joys and prayer requests to the Zoom chat or send them to our Facebook Messenger.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stems of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Well, here we are, the big 6-0. Shortly, we will elect officers for another year and celebrate our achievements and growth afterward with a picnic. We've come a long way from a small core group of 60s hippies and activists to the place we are today. Not without conflict, true, but also not without love. We are the descendants, the children, the grandchildren, and the hope of the generation that came before us. Everyone who is currently listening to this are gathered in community because one small group of mothers, fathers, aunts, and uncles had a vision, and we were included in it. As I ruminated over this talk, I thought about what it meant to me when I turned 60 in November. I heard terms such as 60 is the new 40, and the best years are still ahead. I realized then that the best years were ahead if I focused my efforts on making my current ones mean something. Certainly, it is very possible for me to create a new life at this point and become a totally different person from who I was, but I've already processed my trauma, have already moved beyond most things I needed to let go of, and I had no need to become someone else. I am incredibly happy with who I am and what I've done so far. Instead, I committed myself to taking that wisdom with me as I move forward into my next human incarnation. Were I to leave that wisdom behind, I certainly would have failed and gone back to who I was before I gained that knowledge. In human years, 60 is old enough to have gathered a lifetime of wisdom and a fresh outlook on life. In terms of a church, however, it is roughly the equivalent of an adolescent discovering himself. There's so much to learn, so much new information to gather for the first time, and there are new ideas that are just forming. With that comes a hubris and a sense of rebellion. The ideas of the older generations and those who have already walked their path becomes outdated and irrelevant. It can be an incredibly empowering time when life is focused on dreams and the future. As we walk into the next era of our church, perhaps it's time we begin focusing on becoming the adult version of what the church could be. We've sort of tried on different personas over the past 60 years now, as we sought out a sense of who we are. The original vision of the charter's members was focused on social action and justice. Somewhere along the line, we got lost in the minutiae of the details it takes to simply keep a building open and filled. Somehow along the line, we gathered more members who have no sense of our roots, yet seek to change who we are. I sometimes wonder if that's how the train got derailed. We failed to pass on the stories and history. Legacies exist for a reason, but they do no good if no one hears them. What if we got it back on track? As a small church in a largely diverse city, many lost faith in the UUA. We continue to be one of the most diverse congregations in the Unitarian Universalism, given our size. Could we do better? Absolutely, without a doubt. But we seem to have an attitude that we can do it ourselves without listening to the wisdom of those who have been doing some of the work. Rather than completely divest ourselves of that wisdom, perhaps we should listen more, take what is ours, and leave what doesn't fit. Only we can decide who we will be, but it never hurts to have input on that as we define our personal identity. No one is asking for a proclamation from on high to determine our path. Only guidance from those who are slightly ahead and have an idea of where the roadblocks are. One of the most significant things about this being our 60th anniversary is that it comes right in the middle of a huge cosmic shift. We are quickly moving into an entire new paradigm, and that cannot be ignored. While the Christians will tell you these are the end times, and the Bible certainly gives the same impression, I don't believe that. We aren't. The war in Israel is a fight of the old energy against the new that will eventually end in peace. but we must get there first. What you see around you may seem hopeless now, but it's not. In the meantime, there's work to be done so we can build a new world. In fact, the number 60 represents the time to seek healing in relationships, financial issues, and the work necessary to help us move forward. This is a significant time in any reality. It is also a meaningful time on a personal level. So what follows is not specifically for the congregation, but also relates on a self-actualization level. After many conversations with friends of all color, gender identity, and ability, and my own experience as a personal coach, this is what I see as the most important points to remember as we move forward as a church, as a nation. In the end, what happens on a larger scale is always reflected on what happens on a micro scale. Listen to each other. We tend to assume our perception is correct without considering there is always another side to every story. Before we accuse someone of anything, we need to step back and look at the bigger picture. Understand you are speaking to another human being who also needs to be heard on a soul level. Take a few minutes to get to know them. Accountability begins on a personal level. No one who is unwilling to take responsibility for their own actions has ever successfully been able to change someone else's point of view or contribute to their growth. One rule of thumb I use when I decide is to reach out to my network, which includes awakened people of every age, gender identity, and color. They are my sounding board and my support system. I am always careful to integrate any relevant and important guidance they provide. I don't listen solely to people of my generation, and I always try to reach out to another viewpoint. Certainly, I have my own opinions and thoughts, which are occasionally released at inconvenient times. I'm human, but I'm also open-minded enough to adjust when I am given other information. Being open-minded enough to grow as a human being is probably the biggest concern that has come up in different conversations. We live in a divided world now, and when we don't listen to other viewpoints, we become stuck. Growth is never comfortable, but it's always optional. Realize you are not responsible for how someone else reacts to what you say. The reaction is always a projection of who and where they are now. Similarly, don't allow yourself to become emotionally entangled in an accusation lodged against you in anger. If there's a valid point beneath the surface, take it and adjust your actions accordingly. This is undoubtedly the most difficult concept to understand, but necessary for your health and happiness. In the case of a group, always assume that if there are multiple people making the same point, there's probably some validity. Simply process, adjust, and move on. Often the best reaction to an emotionally charged situation is none at all. You can always come back to address the underlying issue later in a less charged environment. Now, to return to where we are as a church, there are so many things we need to work on at a physical, real world level. We need more income. We need better governance. And there's a laundry list of items that individuals want to see happen on our grounds. These things are important and necessary. It is possible to have multiple projects happening at once toward the same end target. In fact, it's necessary in a world that needs care today, not next year. Around us, we see a trend toward multiple income streams as opposed to one primary income. If we pay attention to what is going on around us and with whom we are covenanting, there is absolutely no reason these things can't happen in tandem. We simply need to keep in mind that one person's need does not trump someone else's, and those groups who have their own goals do not necessarily need to be put on hold. We do, however, need to work together and respect that we do not all see the world the same way and that possibilities are valid. There's always room for compromises. There's so much potential in this church and its members going into the future. We may have different viewpoints of the world and various backgrounds, but we have one important thing in common. We care. We care about where humanity is headed and how we can help each other and others to heal, find love, and create hope. Let's work toward that. I end this sermon with a quote by Universalist minister Hosea Ballou, who said, "If we agree in love, there is not disagreement that can do us any injury. But if we do not, no other agreement can do us any good. Let us endeavor to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bonds of peace." Yeah, let's do that.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know with Him, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 yeah.
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope. For we are now the keepers of the dream. To make an offering or your pledge, please go to oakcliffuu.org/donate and follow the links.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy.
An ending or merely prelude to more glorious beginnings by Michael A. Schuler. We have reached the end of this time for the gathering of memory and for letting the imagination play with future possibilities. We have enjoyed magic moments and edified each other. Shall it be concluded then? Or will this adventure, now commenced, continue? Our separate paths converging, meeting, merging, in the unending quest for love more perfect, the joyous struggle for meaning more sufficient and life more abundant. Is this ending to be an ending or merely prelude to new, more glorious beginnings? I pose the question. In your hearts lies the answer.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez.